In your own words, why do you think football is the biggest sport in the world?
Oh, start with something hard. Come on.
Well, it's a passion and you don't know where you get it from. For me, it was just, I mean, obviously when I was a kid, I loved football, playing football. And then eventually my dad took us to a match when it was Sunderland. And for me, it stuck ever since. And I don't know why, but through thick and thin, you just and try and enjoy it. But it's in you for some reason. And I don't know why you can't shift it.
I agree with that. I think there's a certain level of it's accessible because, like, when I was a kid, I would just play. I had a penny floater and I played in the back lane. Whereas I liked watching tennis, but I needed like a racket, balls. I needed like access to a court to actually like play it well. Whereas football, it's just there. So you kind of know about the game, like you know how it works if you're playing it, even as a kickabout with mates. And then obviously once you kind of latch onto a local club, yeah, there's just no hope for you, I think, really. And I think the fact that there is a tribalism with it helps as well, because there's always that kind of narrative and drama that just keeps things going. Like there's always a Newcastle to Sunderland, or there's always a City to like Man United kind of thing, you know. So there's a bit of that as well, I think.
So good to be back in the Prem.
Oh yes, really enjoying it. Um, I sit with my grandson, and I'm more pleased for him than me now, because I've been there and done it, seen the greatest players in the world and like the bests and everything, and he struggled. He's seen a little brief couple of matches in the Premier, and then relegation, and he's stuck at every game though.
Yeah.
And he still turns up, and he's Sunderland daft. And so now I just like at Wembley in May last year when we got promotion, it was just fantastic seeing his face, and I was just over the moon for him, and that's suppose I was exactly the same, with my dad when Sunderland did well, and he loved it for me, and
To both of you individually, what is your earliest memory with the club?
my earliest memory is my first match. It was against Swansea Town then, not City. Swansea Town they were. But my father used to just select a match where it wouldn't be like a sellout, so I could see properly. Because if it was too full, like the old Roker Park, it used to hold 50 odd thousand, and if there was that many there, I wouldn't have seen. And but I remember, and I remember the goal scorers, and we won 7-2. So it's a great game to go to your first game, and then he wouldn't take us for weeks, because no, it'll be chock-a-block, and then eventually, like, he used to say, I'm not taking you today, but when I was old enough, about 13, and I used to go with my mates and get back home before he got back home, and I used to say, well, what was the match like? And I was standing in the full end looking at my dad, with his mates, you know what I mean? But I didn't let on that I had been. But my first memory was like the Swansea Town game.
Do you want to share a little bit about the chair? Like, how did that come about?
Well, when they were pulling Roker Park down, when we were moving to the Stadium of Light, um, my birthday was coming up, and my wife Pat found out about, so you could buy blocks of chairs from the clock stand and the main stand, and well, you could buy little squares of turf, and but you found somebody on Sunderland, he had a load of the chairs, and she went and bought us one for my birthday. And I didn't have a clue, and it was standing in the middle of the room. Look what I bought you, and I was flabbergasted, and I love it. But I need some new wood for the sides, because they're split with the weather, and I'll have to get it done. But, it's in pride of place, so I can see it every morning when I look out the kitchen window. My chair's there.
Is it from the clock stand, is it?
From the clock stand,
yeah.
yeah.
John, what was your earliest memory?
So I don't remember the exact game. I was just checking with my dad before the camera turned on. Am I right that it was Ipswich?
I think it was
Yeah.
Ipswich. Is that the one where Gabbiadini got sent off?
I don't remember Gabbiadini getting sent off, but did we get beat? I think we got beat, didn't we?
Right, probably.
Aye, we did. Yeah, we did. But I remember Gabbiadini and Gates were playing. But I remember more just like the volume, because I was little, right? I was really little, and we stood in the forward end, and I like my main memory of like the very early times of going to Roker Park is just being hit with the noise of it, and like the bustle of just bodies in front of us and things like that, and not really knowing what's going on. But I also associate like getting in the car with certain people, and I like associate going to the Bluebell and things like that. And so it's not even the match itself, it's more like the ritual of the day of like getting picked up by, you know, whether it be like John Owen or Fred Hodger or someone like that, and then going to the pub and kind of, I think I was probably quite bored in the pub at the time because I would have been what, like 10, do you know what I mean? I
10,
was
like
probably just
10,
sat there like full of anticipation. Yeah, so that's the main thing that I remember. And I remember like, yeah, it was more the atmosphere around it because I could see very little of the actual game. Do you know what I mean? You can just see like the ball flashing across the net because where we stood was pretty much behind
It was behind.
Tony Norman's goal, wasn't
That's
it?
right, yeah.
Yeah. So that was it for me. It was more like the like vague memories of the atmosphere of the place rather than a specific game. I think me really clear memories of games come a little bit later, like the cup final run and things like that. That's when I can really start to remember matches.
Yeah.
Do you both have a favourite memory?
Have you got one?
What,
Favorite memory?
The Manchester City game in the cup run. I know that's boring because lots of people who were there say, "Oh, the Man City game's the best game ever at Roker Park," but it was just. There's a story behind it because they played on the Saturday and they drew down at Main Road 2 each, and I was only courting my now wife, Pat, and we went out night clubbing, and the legs went, and I said, "I'll have to wait, well, I'll have to get back early because I'm going to be at Roker Park, but first thing in the morning, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, because the tickets were going on sale the next day. They played on the Saturday, tickets on sale on the Sunday, and they played the match on a Tuesday. And Pat says, well, we'll just stop out, we'll just stop up, and we'll just get the bus early, get the first bus, the old economic. So we had to walk along the beach, along the street front, and when it up, we went back to Pat's house, and she got a heavier coat on because it was like February, and we then we walked to our sister's, had a cup of coffee and something to eat there till the first bus arrived, and this was from like 1 o'clock in the morning. We just stayed up, and I didn't go home to get changed. I was all done up like a 70s, you know, and I still had all my good gear on. But when I got on the bus, like I knew everybody on the bus because everybody had done the same. Because the lads had to get their ticket for the match, and we got to Roker Park, and it was frosty, it was freezing, and we didn't have any overcoats or anything. We're just standing there, and got our tickets, but I got Pat a ticket as well. But what happened was she caught flu, and so she couldn't go to the match because obviously with standing in the cold and everything, she was full of cold. She couldn't go to the match. So I like Pat's brother-in-law says, I'll take him. He had a car, so I says, oh, champion. Yeah, so he got Pat's ticket. But that's my favourite game, and it was just the noise level, because Man City were one of the top teams in Europe at the time, and that there was just a team full of internationals. And on paper we shouldn't have, and we destroyed them, and it was just the chants, and I just remember the noise. It was just fantastic.
That's class, that. Yeah. Mine's a bit different because probably favourite memory was, and you weren't there. It was me and my brother Paul went to see at the Stadium of Light. They put the big screen on for when we played Newcastle at St James's Park in the Premier League, when it was the season when we were kind of first back up in the Premier at the stadium, and it was the one where we beat them 2-1. and Phillips scored just that absolutely blinding goal in the team and rain where he just like pivoted and like chipped it over the keeper. And the stadium erupted like as loud as any goal that I've ever heard scored there. And there was only like 2 stands there, I'm pretty sure, because it might
Yeah.
maybe it's even only 1.
Yeah.
But I just that felt special because well, it was beating them, but also it was like favourite player at the time. It was all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like
I remember.
it's more that.
I remember I could hear the 2 of them singing down the next block. And the windows weren't open, Eric, but I could hear the 2 of them singing their heads off.
Yeah.
About 11 o'clock at night. It was just great seeing you.
Yeah. I'll tell you the other one as well though, and it was in the county along there. It was the season when we got promoted again with like Quinn and Phillips, and I think it was someone like, was it Burnley or
Was
something?
it Bradford?
It
We won 5-1.
It began with a B. We won
Bradford?
5-2 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just again like being with everyone when we were playing like so well and on the cusp of being like a successful team, just felt great. So I remember that. My main memories are like people's reactions to something great happening is the thing that I love.
Yeah.
Like, it's a funny one, but I remember like that second time in the Premier League when Stefan Schwartz was playing for and people like that.
Yeah.
Would be someone like Ipswich like 3 or 4-0, and we battered them. We were so comfortable the whole game. And I just remember that realisation that we're like a really good team. And it was just lovely because everyone had that look on their face like you did. The other people that we went to the match with, like Jimmy Simon, Stu, John Owen, like everyone was just clearly buzzing. And I remember that kind of feeling of just that elation, you know.
How do you think over time your relationships with the club? How do you think it's depend on maybe a match day here and there or those important moments that you've been talking about? Do you think it's brought you two together closer in a way, maybe?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
yes.
definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the same with my grandson.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's part of it now. You know, and it's just I prefer the club like in the old days with Bob Murray and the like, because it was called the caring club and they did care. And I'm not saying the club don't do anything now, but it was great at that time. You know, they were approachable. Now you kind of, it's not the same. You know.
Yeah, but I think kind of obviously our relationship, we're always talking about Sunderland. Even like I don't go as much anymore or anything like that. I'm not a season ticket holder. But if ever we're having a pint, we'll get round to talking about Sunderland. My nephew, like, like at least 75% of our conversations about Sunderland. It's just that common bond, but also just friends. Like I've got mates from school that we decided we were going to be mates because we both had like a red and white shirt on one day, and I'm still mates with them, you know. So it's and again, it's just that thing of like, yeah, it's like you form friendships through it. You become closer to people in your life through it and all that as well. It's really important.
And I've got friendships with Newcastle supporters.
Oh, of course,
you know, and it's good banter, you know. But they're proper, what I call proper supporters. You know, they go and they know what they're talking about and they played football. And while some other people, I won't talk about football to them.
True.
But, you know, but these like some of my best mates are Newcastle supporters, and I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know, because my dad used to go to Newcastle one week and Sunderland the next, in the late 50s. And then for some reason, it was Sunderland was his team, and that was it.
Why do you think it means so much to people? Would you? This has been going around a lot when we're doing these interviews. Would you consider it a religion, maybe, to people?
I think it is to some people. I don't think it is to me. I don't know how you feel about it.
It's not to me. Obviously, I've mellowed a lot, because I'm an old man. But I mean, when you're younger and you react different, and you know, but not in a nasty way. Don't get us wrong, but like I say, the hurt was terrible, you know. But now I'm more mellow about it, and I just take it in my stride. And I try and reason it to my grandson, you know, and make it easier for him to take. But I know it's like it's very hard because it does hurt.
I always remember something that Roy Keane said when he became manager at Sunderland, and I think he's right. He said something along the lines of like the culture of the region, like it's a working class area. There's a lot of kind of social deprivation and stuff like that in kind of the northeast. And I think if you look at the kind of the passion that cuts across both Sunderland and Newcastle, I don't think that's replicated across the country. I genuinely don't think you get it in every location. And I do think there is something about the history of both of them clubs, the kind of makeup of the supporters, the kind of values that are instilled in it by like parents taking kids and that kind of carrying on. I think there is like a really kind of feverish fan base up here as a result of that, and maybe it's a way that there isn't elsewhere. Some people would probably look at from the outside of that and go, "Oh, like that is like a religion for them supporters." It's just passion. It's just passion for the club you support for me.
Yeah. But
And last but not least, both city and club, what is your hope for the future of Sunderland?
what Sunderland for the city as well? Well, obviously there's a lot of building going on at the moment, and I hope there's loads of employment, because with the employment, if the club's doing well, everybody's happy, and everybody's happy to go to work, and it's funny how it can go hand in hand. So I hope the club do really well for that, just for the knock-on effect. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's like a really good time for Sunderland. I think it's, as a city, like a lot of things seem to be happening. I think it's really cool that the club are part of that though, like the stuff that they're doing with Keelman's Way, the support for Sunderland as a music city and all that stuff, I think is just brilliant. And I think kind of aligning the culture within Sunderland with what the club's doing is just like a great move on behalf of everyone involved in that. Like, my hope for both is just a bit more prosperity and actually to be recognised a little bit more nationally, because I think like the heritage of the place is important and strong and kind of meaningful, and there's a lot of good kind of things that have come from Sunderland, including the football club. Football club wise, I said when we got promoted, like my only hope is that we're not a laughing stock back in the Premier League, and obviously now it's like it feels like we are taking, like we look like a serious club, and for me it's just all right. We've done that for one season. Can we really cement that and kind of establish ourselves as like an ongoing Premier League club again, and just be taken seriously? So it feels like for a long time we've been a bit of a sideshow and a bit of a joke in a way that hasn't been fair.